Back in September, Lewis Varnell performed a one-man show at the Chattanooga Theater called I Wasn't No Hero. It's a tribute to the soldiers from our area who fought our wars.
And tonight, he's here to give us a short excerpt. It's the story of his own father serving in World War II. Lewis, take it away.
October 20th, U.S. forces land on the island of Leyte, and on October 22nd, a young Marine from this area lands there with the 5th Marine Amphibious Corps. And they push in about 2 miles, and they dig in these positions, two-man foxholes, and as night falls, they're on 50% alert. So one man's awake and one man's asleep. And this young Marine was laying there asleep, and he heard a noise. And after 26 months in combat, you just get a feel when things aren't right. And as he sat upright, a Japanese soldier dove in on top of him and drove a bayonet into his chest, into his left-hand side. And he tore loose from him, and as he came rolling out of the hole, he ran into Japanese soldiers everywhere, and they were hacking at him with bayonets. And he was cut across the arms, his right leg was cut open to the bone, his chest was cut again, and while struggling with one of these soldiers, a pistol round went off and tore through his forearm. And at the sound of that pistol shot, the American machine gunners cut loose at the noise. He takes two .50 caliber rounds through the legs. One blows a 14-inch hole through his thigh, and the other one tears through his calf, and down he goes. And as he's struggling along, he manages to fall into the corpsman's position, and the corpsman is trying to wrestle him down to work on him, and the adrenaline is just pumping and pumping and pumping, and he said he kept trying to crawl out, and the corpsman throws him down into the bottom of the hole, and he says, "Where do you think you're going?" And he said, "I don't know where you're going. I'm going to Chattanooga, Tennessee." Well, when morning comes, they have over 129 dead Japanese within their perimeter. They race him down to the beach, and he's transported out on a hospital ship. He goes to Australia, then back to the United States, and over the next year and a half, he spends time in 6 different naval hospitals being told that he would never walk again. And he tells the doctors, "No, I'm going to walk." And the doc says, "No, you're not, son. You're going to be paralyzed for life." Well, he didn't want to be paralyzed for life, and he basically gritted his teeth and pushed through it and went back to work at the electric power board after the war. But for the first 6 months he was there, he still had to pack that wound in his calf with gauze, because as he would climb those poles, it would tear open and still drain. And I remember when I was a kid, my dad and I had the exact same birthmark, and I would look at him in shorts in the summer, and I'd see those scars, and I would ask him, why don't I have those? And he wouldn't talk about it. And I got a little older, and I kept asking. He said, "Well, I was in the Marine Corps in World War II." But he still wouldn't tell me anymore. And once I finally got old enough, I asked him, and he sat down and he told me about being in combat for 26 months, about being overrun, about being paralyzed. And I said, "Dad, you must have been some sort of hero." And he said, "Oh, I wasn't no hero. If they gave medals for being scared, I was a hero." But he was my hero.
Lewis Varnell.
Great story.
It's called I Wasn't No Hero. Lewis hopes to take this show back on the road next year to raise some money for the Southeast Veterans Museum. Lewis, thank you so much for this. A very good story, inspiring too, appropriate for Veterans Day. It's nice to hear a story about someone's family too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
And I love to hear that. Why don't I have those scars?
Exactly. There you go. That's what a kid would think, right?
Yeah. Thank you again
Lewis.
so much for being here. And everybody, don't forget to stay with us, because we're back with a new set of Possum Picks in just a minute.